Welcome back, legends. I hope you're all amazing. I'm certainly feeling pretty good because it is a Friday, which means it's time for another installment of Friday Q&A. Thank you to everybody who submitted a question this week. If you have a question you would like me to answer on next week's video, put it in the comment section below. If you want to support my channel directly, there are links to the music that I make with Ragdoll and my Patreon in the video description. Let's go. To start this video, I'm going to mash a bunch of questions into one because I've been asked a few questions by various eagle-eyed viewers relating to the guitars hanging on the wall here. The first one relates to this guitar, the one that I like to call the Gem Swan. This is basically just a concept guitar that I made with my dad. So it's a all mahogany gem style body on here. It's got a Kramer Night Swan themed neck. The neck is all maple and it has Burmese rosewood on the fretboard, which actually I think my dad got from some flooring that a friend of his gave to him. This person was installing some floorboards somewhere and said, hey, you probably really like this timber, so tried it out on a guitar and it feels pretty good and it sounds pretty good. It's obviously got the gem body aesthetic and it's a multi-scale as well, and you can see the strings go through the body on there. The finish is like a gunstock oil finish on here, so there's a really nice woody feel to this whole guitar, and I did a video with this a little while ago playing the solo from In My Dreams by Dawkins, so I'll try to find that clip and put it right here. On the topic of signature models by rock gods, have I tried an EVH Wolfgang? I haven't actually got the EVH brand, but I do have a PV Wolfgang special with the infamous Googly Eye Mod. Very, very important there. This guitar is super cool when it comes to body shapes. For a non-Strat Tele Les Paul body shape, I personally think this is pretty cool. I really like the Wolfgang shape. I also really like that it has a Floyd style bridge on it that can only go down. So it's a flush mounted Floyd, and I rarely use the Floyd anyway, so I take the locking nut off this and I don't actually use the fine tuners ever. I just kind of treat it like a hardtail guitar. And you know, these things have a sound. They've got super, super comfy necks. I really like this for a kind of smaller, thinner neck. It's incredibly comfy to play. Every time I've played this guitar live, I've been able to fly with it. And yeah, I generally dig this. I think if you're a Van Halen fan, you've probably already checked one of these out. So I'm preaching to the choir there saying that they're really, really good, but they're actually pretty versatile modern guitars. Flipping over to bassland now, I showed you all my Japanese jazz bass last week, and another eagle-eyed viewer noticed what's going on the back here. This is a Hipshot bass extender, which you can basically set up so that you can plink away in regular tuning, and then you hit it, and then it will drop your tuning to a note. Most people use it as a drop D to E standard thing on there. So you could be playing in, say, E standard, you hit the little flicky switch at the back. That's the technical name for it, a flicky switch, and then you would be in drop D. There's actually a little kind of thumb screw right here that lets you adjust the tuning for this mode. And Ryan made heaps of use for this when he was playing this bass live a lot, because some of our older Ragdoll songs are in, well, they're in D standard as opposed to drop C. So he could easily just play through the D standard songs. He didn't have to stop and tune for the next song. He could just flick that, and he actually kind of got into the habit where he was using it where you could be playing on the low string and then flick this while you're playing. It's a really, really cool trick, and if you want to see that trick taken to the absolute extreme, check out Michael Manring. I think he plays a Zon bass where he's got a bunch of these that can go up and down and on the bridge, and basically just plays in an open tuning and does some amazing stuff on the bass guitar. Highly recommend. Last specific guitar related question, when are we going to hear this Firebird on the channel? Well, you would have heard it earlier in the week on my AC/DC 5-minute licks installment on there, and Have a Drink on Me, which is the correct name for that song. I think at some point I mentioned that it was Shoot to Thrill. It's all a blur. I apologize to all the AC/DC diehards out there. But this is a 1992 Firebird. The only thing I've changed on it is I've taken the stock banjo-style machine heads and swapped them for these Steinberger gearless tuners. Highly, highly recommend that mod. this guitar stays in tune so much better, and it is a joy to use these machine heads on here. They're probably my favorite machine heads, and I'm kind of tempted to get a set and try them on one of my Les Pauls or my PRS. The only thing that kind of puts me off is maybe the headstock would look a little weird, but maybe that would be a good thing. What do you all reckon? How much time do I spend when I'm doing guitar-related noises between improvising and playing pre-made licks, and how much of my practice session is devoted to improvising versus sitting there and working out licks? Interesting. I would, off the top of my head, probably say about 70% just kind of raw improv, noodling around, trying to get into a flow state with my playing, because I find that's when all the cool ideas fall out, namely song and riff ideas. And maybe 30% kind of regimented practice. But when I'm doing regimented practice, it is less about, say, learning a particular lick and more about trying to learn a song or trying to transcribe some melodies or trying to work on very specific mechanical aspects of my playing, whether it's refining my legato technique or working on my picking mechanics or just working on my general sense of time. And this is something that comes up a lot in my private lessons that I do. It's like, what do you think about when you're playing? And that sounds like a topic for a video if people would like to see me talk about how I basically don't think when I play and how I also don't use that. The entire neck lights up with all the notes. My kind of hybrid, strange approach that works really well for me when it comes to improvising. Let me know in the comments. Do I prefer 6L6 or EL34 tubes in my amps? I feel like this is a super broad question. I would have to say that the tube choice to me is way less important than the design of the amplifier. I think if you get a Boogie Mark series and put EL34s in it, it's probably still overall going to sound like a Boogie Mark series more than it's going to sound like a particular tube type. So my answer is that I prefer KT77s. I've mentioned a few times that playing ragdoll shows, we will do a split between either doing purely original shows, every time we've gone to the US or Europe or toured Australia, it is purely to promote our own music and we do an all original set. Playing in country towns in Western Australia where you have to play for 3 hours, we don't have 3 hours of original music, and a lot of people who come to those shows don't want to hear much original music. So we will mostly do a set of covers and pepper it with our own tunes. We've also done some shows which are more of a 50-50 split recently. So the sort of stuff that we cover, we do a lot of stuff, a lot of classic rock. Australians worship AC/DC, so there's a lot of AC/DC, there's some Creedence, there's some Tom Petty, there's some Dio, there's some Sabbath, there's some Led Zeppelin, there's a bunch of 80s stuff by Aussie bands in there, talking about your Mondo Rock and Hunters and Collectors, bands like that, that people in Aussie pubs love because those bands started in Aussie pubs and it's Aussie pub music. And then we do a bunch of more modern stuff as well and some heavy stuff. If you come to a ragdoll show and request some Iron Maiden or you request some Metallica, we'll give it a crack. We're never scared of that, and we may ruin your favorite song, but we're always more than happy to delve into that. We also do some kind of punk stuff and some pop stuff. Just anything that has guitar noises in it, we'll give it a crack. What's going on in the sub $1,000 market for digital modelers? Depends what you mean by $1,000. Are we talking 1,000 Australian dollars or are we talking 1,000 American dollars? If it's 1,000 American dollars, you can basically get onto any of the major brands there. The Fractal FM3 in the USA retails for $999 US. So you can get an absolutely epic sounding modeler, kind of no compromises when it comes to tones. There's obviously units like the Line 6 HX Stomp, and who else makes a pretty decent modeler? The old Atomic Amplifier still sounds really good, even though they haven't really been doing updates or anything like that. Still a really solid product for the money. You've got products from companies like Mua and NUX, a lot of which I have demoed on the channel before. You've got the whole plugin sphere as well, whether it's stuff by brands like Line 6 now doing a metal plugin pack. They have Helix Native. You also have stuff like the Neural DSP plugins. You've got Mercurial Audio, who do some fantastic stuff. A bunch of free plugins out there as well, which sound really good. So that sub $1,000 US space is pretty densely populated with really great sounding modeling products now. If we're talking 1,000 Australian dollars, that's probably about half that in US dollars, then you are looking more towards the brands like NUX and Mua. I can't remember what an HX Stomp costs in Australia, but it's probably less than $1,000. You've now got stuff like the Boss GX100 around that price mark. The Line 6 Pod Go as well would be another choice. Like basically, you've probably got a really great sounding modeler at nearly every price point now. It's more a case of what features do you need and what form factor do you need. Would I recommend grabbing a 4x12 and filling it with some of the Celestion full range guitar speakers that they've put out? I'm really curious about that because I haven't checked out the F12, I forget the full name for it. My apologies to Celestion and everybody who has those. I haven't checked one of those out recently. One of the things that really appeals to me about digital modeling is that I actually don't have to cart a 4x12 around with me to gigs anymore just to get a good guitar sound. I'm mostly on in-ears, and when I really want to have a loud stage sound, I take the G66 Red Sound MF10s to gigs and use them with in-ears, so I've got some reinforcement on stage. That's kind of awesome, but they're so compact and light and they punch so hard that I'm finding less and less I miss that sound of a 4x12. But there is something magic about a 4x12 pushing air. You know, it's just one of those experiences that I think everybody should have at least once live. But being able to do it with a modeling product and have all that versatility, I am curious and I do want to get around to it at one stage and try those Celestion speakers out. Have you tried them? Let me know about it in the comments section below. If you've stuffed a 4x12 with some full range speakers for guitar modelers, I would love to hear about your experience. That is it for this week's Q&A. Thank you all so much for this week's questions. If you have questions for next week, put it in the comments section below. I am so privileged and so fortunate to be able to spend my time doing this, and I really, really do appreciate all the support, all of you who watch the videos, who have subscribed, who listen to Ragdoll, and who sign up to my Patreon offer. It really does mean a lot to me, and I want to give a shout out to everybody who is affected by the conflict in Ukraine. I've had a few comments over the last week in particular from people, and you don't need me to remind you that this is an absolutely atrocious, horrific thing that is happening. So I will put a few links in the video description to remind people that if they do want to do anything they can to help the aid and the support, to help out regular people just like you and me who are suffering at the moment, I'll put those in the video description. And I hope wherever you are in the world, you stay safe and you be good to one another. Have a great weekend. I'll see you next time.